If you're smart, ambitious, and you're stuck in a 9 to 5 role that just rewards effort with more work instead of more freedom, starting a remote cleaning business in 2026 is still the easiest way to do it. I started and scaled my own cleaning business from 0 to 40K a month in just under 9 months, and I've helped hundreds of clients start and scale their own cleaning businesses from 0 to 10K in as little as 23 days using an extremely simple system. So in this video, I'm going to show you exactly how to do the same, step by step, no fluff. So before we get into the tactics, I need to explain the mindset shift that is required that most people will get completely wrong before starting. Most people think they need to do everything themselves: sales, support, hiring, management, technology, and yes, even the cleaning, right? This keeps you stuck trading time for money, which is exactly what you're trying to escape from your current job. So here's the CEO versus operator difference that changes everything. You're building a set of systems that the business runs on. You're not becoming another cleaner, right? So if you think about any franchise like McDonald's, there's the person flipping burgers, and then there's the person who built the actual franchise system, right? The burger flipper makes minimum wage and the franchise builder makes millions of dollars. So you want to be the second one, obviously. Here's what this actually means in practice, right? So you're never going to clean anything yourself. That's not the point. The point is developing systems that allow you to run the company, not developing the skill set to clean a home. So I see people make this mistake constantly, right? They start a cleaning business and immediately are thinking like, I need to do the first few cleanings myself to maintain quality or learn the business, or I'll save money by doing it myself initially, right? So that's immediately that employee thinking I'm talking about. You're not starting a cleaning business to become a cleaner, right? You're starting a cleaning business to become a business owner. And here's what separates those people who scale to 10K plus per month versus people who are getting stuck at 2 to 3K, right? Those who get stuck are spending time in the wrong places, still doing too much themselves, right? So they're either cleaning houses instead of getting clients, they're managing every detail instead of building the actual system, right? They're working in the business instead of on the business. But the people who scale understand that their job is to, number one, get clients who need cleaning services. Number two, find cleaners who can deliver those services. And number three, build systems that connect clients and cleaners reliably, right? So you can manage the process remotely. That's it. Everything else can be delegated or systematized. And when you start to understand this from day one, you start to think differently, you start to build differently, because you're thinking about scalability from the beginning instead of trying to retrofit systems later. And that typically results in some sort of legacy issue because you made some decisions early on that are basically costing you in the long run. Now, once you've adopted this mindset, now we can start to talk about market research and begin this journey. And I know this sounds boring, right? Research, but this is what separates successful businesses from failed ones, right? You never want to go into anything completely blind. If you don't know your numbers, you'll make short-term decisions based on feelings, right? That hurt you in the long term. So most people will skip this step because they're eager to start making money. If you spend the time to research up front, you can save yourself months of struggling later and give yourself the confidence to move forward with the business. So you need to research two things. Number one, quantitative data. Number two, qualitative data. So from the quantitative side, that means the numbers, right? How much are the clients willing to pay? How much do the cleaners cost? What's your profit margin going to be on average? And then the qualitative means the market dynamics, right? So what do other competitors offer? How do they communicate? What's their customer support like? Where are there gaps that I can exploit or position my company for an advantage, right? So if I were to do this today, here's the practical research process, right? Find 5 to 10 competitors in your area before you start. Don't just look at their websites. Call them as a potential client, right? So from there, you're going to get all their pricing, whatever that is per clean. What's the range? Look at their service offerings, right? Do they offer one-time cleanings, recurring packages? What's included in each service? Those are going to be the basics. Then you're going to want to look at how they communicate. Are they premium focused? Are they budget focused? Are they professional? Are they casual, right? This is going to give you an understanding where everyone's at. And for example, if everyone's competing on price, there's an opportunity to position premium, right? If everyone's unprofessional, you can win with better communication, right? So these are going to be things you're going to find out through this process yourself. And I want to be clear, I wouldn't use AI just to get numbers, right? They're not going to give you the actual feeling you have as the customer, right? Because that data is important. So do not skip that step if you're going to do this yourself. Then I'm going to research neighborhoods, right? So where are the demographics of higher incomes, right? So where are my clients mostly going to be serviced? I can also look at some census data online for that zip code area to identify where the household incomes are. So by doing this gives me a real pricing framework based on actual market data and helps me identify exactly where my ideal clients live. The key is getting real information from real businesses, not relying on AI that might be outdated or might be inaccurate for your specific market. So if you do all those things, means this research is going to create confidence in you as an owner because it's not based on feelings, right? It's based on numbers and homework. You know where the competitive edge before you start is. For example, if all the competitors are charging $150 and focusing on budget clients, I'll position myself at a $200 plus for premium clients who value quality and convenience, right? So when someone asks about your pricing, you're not guessing. You know exactly where you fit into the marketplace and why. By the way, if you want to skip trying to figure this out all on your own and you want to start your own remote cleaning business with support, click the first link in the description below. I help people with this exact process and I only work with a small group at a time. Now let's get back to the video and show you how to get cleaners. So building the team is the foundational element to starting this business. You always want to hire before you think you're ready. So you need cleaners in place before any client is going to book services with you. Otherwise, you're going to be tempted to do the cleaner yourself, which defeats the whole purpose of building a remote business, right? So I see this mistake constantly. Someone gets their first client and they think, I'll just do this one myself to save money. Then they get the second client, they do that too. And before long, they've created a semi-job again for themselves and they're not building a true business. So don't make that mistake. Make sure you're thinking, hey, I've got to get people in place before we're going live with the marketing. So here's where I recommend finding cleaners. You can go to Indeed, you can go to Craigslist, you can go to Facebook groups, and you can go to any kind of local community platforms. Those are mostly free with some having some small sponsored capabilities. You're going to want to post an ad that has a call out on experienced cleaners and positions yourself as a professional company. Having a good job description will attract people who want to work for a professional company, right? Not just anyone looking for quick cash. And then from there, your vetting process has two steps. So the first step is you need to screen immediately. So you're going to ask about things that we've covered in the channel in terms of basic requirements, right? So they have to have their own transportation, they have to have their own equipment and supplies, and they have to be able to pass a background check. If they can't do any of those things, you're screening them out immediately so you're not wasting time. So from there, you're going to actually have an interview process, right? That interview, you're going to go into detail about the experience that they had. So you understand, were they a good cleaner? Were they a bad cleaner? What was their work style? How did they work? Was it the same kind of expectation that you're going to have at your company, right? Understanding more about them, not only from their work experience, but also what is their qualitative aspects? Did they come professionally dressed? Did they have a good attitude? Did they communicate well? Did they listen, right? All of those elements are going to be tested within the actual interview process. And assuming you pass that person, they're going to go through an onboarding sequence where you have everything basically lined out in terms of requirements that you need as a company, such as having insurance, getting a contract signed, and most of all, having a test clean, right? So that test clean would be the final step in this process. So you're going to have them clean a specific place, usually for a smaller period of time, while you assess whether or not they can be a great cleaner for your company. And during that cleaning, what you're really evaluating are a few different things, right? Did they show up on time? Very important. Did they follow the checklist and instructions? Very important. Did they communicate when they arrived and when they left? Is the quality good enough? You're looking for about 80% of the way there. It doesn't have to be perfect, but you are looking for those big things. So for example, if you had a checklist of 10 items and they did 8 of them very well, that is going to be something that you can work from and obviously improve over time, because perfect is the enemy of good, right? When you're trying to scale. And once you've hired your first initial cleaners, here's your management system you can use really quick. So cleaners will need to communicate when they're at the job and when they leave the job. They'll need to get before and after photos of their work. That way you can verify quality from your phone while you're doing whatever you're doing with your day. This will allow you to manage multiple cleaners across multiple jobs without physically being present there. Now, once you have these cleaners, here's where most beginners worry about. How can I get clients when I have no reviews, no testimonials, and no track record, right? The answer is simpler than you think. First, you need to understand that you don't need a ton of clients at $10,000 per month. If you were to use a $200 per clean average, you're looking at around 50 cleanings per month. That's less than 2 cleanings per day across your entire operation. So you need quality customers willing to pay premium prices and stay long-term, not hundreds of bargain hunters. Here's your client acquisition approach. If I had no dollars to spend today in marketing, I would start with my warm market, right? So text 50 people, asking if they need anyone for cleaning services. You can use this message, right? So, hey, name, I just started a professional cleaning company servicing the local area. I'm offering a special rate for friends and family this month. Do you know anyone who could use help with this cleaning? I've said this before in the channel, but you're asking for indirect referrals, not direct sales. This will remove sales pressure and make it easier for you to get your first couple clients. If you were to layer this in with organic methods like joining Facebook groups or getting active on Nextdoor and responding to people that are looking for cleaning recommendations, right? So I don't really recommend posting a bunch of ads immediately. Usually people get flagged for that, but engage authentically first, then offer to help when people are actually looking for help. And let me give you a real example. My own client, Mike, hit 10,000 in 23 days with 0 prior experience, right? He didn't have any reviews or testimonials when he started, but he had the right positioning and sales approach. So when prospects would ask about his experience, he said, I'm building this company specifically for busy professionals who value their time. And every cleaner is background checked and insured. I personally oversee every job, and I guarantee your satisfaction. My goal is to give you your time back. That positioning attracted premium clients who cared more about results than his track record, and he's able to do that and scale very, very quickly. So as you start to grow more rapidly, you're going to need to embrace the delegation mindset, right? So now you're starting to put people in place to execute the systems you built, right? The more people you have doing 80% of what you could do, the more you can scale, because one person doing 100% of the work can maybe handle 10 clients, but if you have 5 people doing 80% of the work, you can handle 50 plus clients. And to me, here's the secret key to fast growth. If you don't pull profits early and you reinvest everything for the first 6 months, you'll have an amazing growth trajectory because you're able to invest in better marketing to get more clients faster, better systems and tools to improve efficiency, better people to start to handle day-to-day operations so you can focus on growth, right? So every dollar you're reinvesting, you're going to get 3 to 5 back in additional revenue. And here's what the timeline typically would look like throughout this entire journey we talked about today. So months 1 through 2 is really foundational work, right? Market research, first clients, first cleaners, basic system setup. Months 3 through 4, building your recurring revenue base, expanding into new territories, refining your processes, building your cleaning team out more. Months 4 through 5, going past the 10K per month number with systems that run without you involved in every single task, right? When you build this right, this business becomes a system that gives you nights off so you don't have to worry about operations, weekends free while the business is generating revenue, a company that's growing while saving you time instead of consuming it. For example, my client Zach built his business to over 40K a month. He still works a full-time job. The business is running during the day while he's at this job, and he manages everything during his breaks and his phone. So the framework is simple, right? Build the foundation with the CEO mindset to begin with. Do your market research, get clients through warm market and organic methods, and then transition to paid. Hire and get the best cleaners before you need them, and then reinvest your profits to scale. This is exactly how I went from 0 to 40K plus per month. Many of my clients have hit this number in as little as 23 days. And if you want to work directly with my team and myself on building this type of business, click the first link in the description below, and also subscribe if you want more videos like this, and I will see you on the next one.